mũtongoria wa Mucwe.
Na muno mundu gwitwo Maina wa Mucwe ni ndwa utuigurira mutamburuko witu wa mohoro matha ici twekihoka ati thirikari ni gukorwo igiethana na ekinae aya makorirwo makihaka kana makorirwo magitharikira mutambo uyu wa e-citizen. Tugithii na mbere ni ati wabici ya mutongoria wa thitango cia muingi ni tariri ati mathukuru o hamwe na kanjo ya kuramata igeranio yagirirwo ni kwinyitia makiria niguo kuhurana na ciiko cia wici wa igeranio o hamwe na ngero iria ciumanaga na undu uyu, na makiaria mari mbere ya kamiti ya mwanya ya bunge iria iromboyagia githomo. Kamiti ino ni yandikithitie kuhingwo kwa mathukuru maria makorwo makinyitikana magitabania wici wa igeranio.
Teachers and schools have a stake in this. Schools are very protective over their schools, and even NEC is protective over its officers. And one of the reasons why many cases are being withdrawn or they take very long is that when there is exam cheating and we report in the newspapers, the matter is very hot. But with time, these people are very reluctant to come to court to give evidence. And without evidence, we cannot get a conviction. And in most cases, and we can show data, most cases that we withdraw are cases that we have looked for the witnesses many times until we are given notice by the judiciary that if we cannot proceed, then we have to withdraw. And that is why we are withdrawing under Section 87, which allows us to come back, should we be able to mend the case. We also think that there is a need for us to relook at ancillary orders, attendant, because if you look at the law that criminalizes the offenses that we are dealing with, it provides for 2 years, a maximum of 10 years, or 2 million, without ancillary orders. I think we must go for ancillary orders, for example, who compromise schools, and even examiners, invigilators. They should be barred, for example. An example of an ancillary order. Barred from administering examinations for 5 years, or barred from teaching, or a school can be barred for something. So unless there is a multi-agency approach where, although each institution is independent, but we are dependent on each other because we feed on each other. So that is what we mean by interagency collaboration and cooperation. And in criminal cases, we have the victim, we have the complainant, we have the accused person, we have the republic, who is the properly so-called the complainant, and then we have the judiciary. So there are many parties that are involved, and all these parties must agree to work to the same objective. So unless there is a multi-agency approach where the objective of all these parties is brought together, no one can work alone.
Na nikigomeire kaunti ya Kisii thutha wa ciana 49 a cukuru wa Kari kuhithukirwo ni njuki na kugurario na agikira uhoro uyu mukonde mwarimu munene wa cukuru uyu Abel Maseno augite mutino uyu uraimanire na kwenyenya kwa mwato wa njuki ici undu uria ucungiriire ciana ici 46 gukorwo igikomio thiini wa thibitari.
It was at around 1:30 when the children were out for lunch. A few boys went out of the compound just next to the school. We have a dumping site there. They went, when they touched on the lawn, unfortunately there were bees landed on them, and the kids ran to school for protection. And we brought a total of about 49 people who were injured. I also want to thank the office responded very positively. They were there with us the moment it happened.
Identified 14 of them who were seriously injured. They had severe anaphylactic reactions. We attended to them. They are now stable, and the rest 35. And the rest of the 35 were very stable. They have been discharged home on OROS. The 14 are stabilized very well. We are planning to release them home anytime from now.
Seemingly there is some danger around the school because of that dump site. I want to advise the school administration to take up the issue with the county government so that if this dump site can be relocated, so that we remove this particular danger from around the school. Young children, you can see the bees were disturbed by bigger boys, but finally the younger boys are the ones who suffered, and girls. So I want to request that they look at this issue. Otherwise, the whole situation has been arrested, and you can see the children back to school. Please let us keep vigil so that we don't get into this kind of...
Na ripoti hiyo ni yake hamwe na makiria Hwaini wa muthenya wa umuthe na tweki mwarimu munene wa ni ukorwo akirora undu uyu na kinyini undu wa kugiriria ciana ingi gukorwo igitharikirwo ni njuki. Tugithie na mbere ni ati ruhonge rwa kuhurana na ungumania bururi-ini EACC ni rwandikithitie watho mweru kuhitukio niguo kuona kana no makinyire mbeca iria ciuragira moko-ini maturia nime, na kamiti ino ni itaririe ati mbeca nyingi ni ciuraga na makiria kumana na ungumania guko makiuga koron kugie na bodi ya mwanya ya kuhurana na undu uyu no ikorwo igiteithiriria na njira nene ni undu wa kuhurana na ungumania uria wingihite muno bururi-ini.
Reporting of cases, we receive reports from any person and any person. Some force is required. And during arrest, there is some limited allowable use of force. But I do not agree that we should unnecessary or force that is beyond what is recognized by the law to effect arrest.
I think the problem we have in this country about the mega corruptions is because a lot of money that is actually stolen from this country is put in overseas countries' offshore accounts. And the problem is that we don't have adequate muscle or adequate law to be able to prevent this money from moving outside the country. And once the money has already moved out, it is difficult to recover it or bring it back, because there's no law compelling the recipient country to return that money back to Kenya. And therefore, that's why as members of parliament, we are now at the forefront to try and come up with a law that will help the EACC first to prevent this money from leaving the country, and then second,
you may not recover the whole full amount, and you may even easily lose track of even whatever that you are falling to recover.
To curb that, we are already proposing 2 laws, and I think some of them are already being executed. Yesterday, we heard of the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating Terrorism Financing Law Amendment, number 35. It was read the first time yesterday in the National Assembly. We also have Proceeds of Crime and Money Laundering Amendment Bill that is already, I think it's on the 3rd reading, if I'm not wrong. So, and we have asked them to interrogate these 2 pieces of legislations so that they can see how we can be able to accommodate the loopholes and the gaps that they already have identified. And yes, we can confirm there is a problem because EACC is not able to block money from moving from Kenya to other countries. They are only able to block money when the money has already been confirmed that the money is for trade, because of course there are some records that are provided by the banks. No, he did not ask a
na tugacokeria ngatho ruhonge ruru rwa EACC ni undu wa gukorwo na mitaratara kirwa na ungumania bururi-ini. Tugithie na mbere ni ati thirikari nene ni irekereirio bilioni 32 gwi thirikari cia kaunti, na uyu ni uge wa mutongoria wa bururi Ndagitari William Ruto na muthenya wa umuthe mwena wa Mombatha kuria akorirwo akiruguria ofici njeru ya commissioner wa kaunti ino ya Lamu.
Muthenya wa umuthe mutongoria wa bururi William Ruto ni anjiri icera riake ria thikũ 5 mwena wa gĩcũa-inĩ na kuria hingũrire ofici njerũ ya commissioner kaunti-inĩ ya Lamu, ũndũ ũrĩa ũkeneirwo nĩ minister wa ũgitĩri wa thĩinĩ Professor Kithure Kindiki, na ũrĩa augire ni ũndũ gũteithia gũkinyeria Kenya motungata ma mũingĩ.
Mheshimiwa Rais, na kushukuru kwa kufungua ofisi hii. Ofisi hii italeta huduma karibu na wananchi. Departments ama idara zile zingine za serikali zitakuwa tusikijumuika na county commission, ikiwemo elimu, birth and death certificates. Wananchi watapata huduma hapa karibu.
Nake gavana wa Mombasa Abdulswamad Sharif augite thirikari cia county ifoti gwikirwo hinya niguo ihote kwirugamirira cio nyene.
You're one individual, you're running a government which has 47 counties. I can assure you, kila unapokwenda kila moja anakuambia kwetu hivi, kwetu hivi, kwetu hivi. Maybe it is time we need to change the narrative on how we should empower counties to be able to stand on their own, so that kesho wewe ukija tukwambie sisi tumefanya tayari wenyewe hivi na hivi na hivi, na wewe tunakuomba sasa ikiwa utaongeza itakuwa ni ya ziada.
Na ciacia gemero rogano president ni miukirire na kugani irathukiria ritwa ria gari ya bururi uyu witu.
Tukakubaliana katika zile barabara ambazo tunataka kufanya upgrading kama hii ya kutoka hapa kwenda Garissa tuweke lami na zile zingine, lakini nimeona majuzi
kadwa kuro na kuheana sheki kwi ategi a thamaki.
Plan is that in the next 3 years we should be able to move the fish or blue economy from 20 billion shilling industry to 120 billion. We must continuously invest in both the human capital, training of our fishermen, and also making sure that we have equipment for making sure that we can do fishing in a way that is sustainable, and also providing infrastructure to support the fishing industry. Leo nataka nitangaze tena nikiwa hapa Lamu, pesa ya county ya mwezi huu nalipa leo shilingi bilioni 32. Mimi niliahidi ya kwamba we support devolution because what devolution can do.
Gilifotera ya kuane
na tukiuma korea mwena wa gicua-ini ni ati mucirithania wa igoti inene Mohoro Hwaini ni ataririe cira uria urahanditwo wa gutetia mubango wa kuhe arutwo irio thiini wa kaunti ino. Mohoro ateteire itua riri na ni kuiga ciana cia thukuru ugwati-ini wa ng'aragu, kuona ihinda riri thogora wa muturire wabatirite na uria uracungirira ciana nyingi kurara itarite thiini wa micii yao. Gavana wa Nairobi Johnson Sakaja augite mubango uyu ni ugakorwo ukirugurio tariki 28 mweri uyu toria mundu gwitwo Mubii wa Munyiri aratariria.
Mucirithania wa igoti inene Mohoro Hwaini ni arutite itua riake hari cira uria urahanditwo thiini wa igoti riri wa gutetia mubango wa thirikari ya kaunti ya Nairobi arutwo irio thiini wa macukuru. Hwaini gwika uu ni kuiga ugwati-ini amite micii itehotete na iria igomeirwo ni ng'aragu.
Be interrogated by this court, and this can only be done at the hearing of the petition. The justice of the case requires that the petition is heard and determined expeditiously. To suspend the program,
tumataririe mubango uyu wandikite wira Kenya makiria ya 289.
The court has said in no uncertain terms that the best interest of the children is what the governor has looked out for, and it has declined to do that. We have been given directions. We'll come back to deal with the main matter, but the best news that we have received is that these children will continue receiving this very important nutritional supplement.
Gavana Sakaja akiaria na andiki a mohoro nja wa igoti riri eriire aciari a arutwo aria magunikaga na mubango uyu ni guthii na mbere kuruirira kuona na mwana agakuci-ini muciari ena mwihoko mwana wake ni akaria kindu cukuru. Ongereire na kuga ni magakorwo makiruguria mubango uyu tariki 28 mweri uyu.
Many of our children, they are harsh economic times. We have sat down, we've planned, we've worked together with national government to take this burden away from our parents, so that in the Bill of Rights, in Article 53, and the children have a right to food and to nutrition. I'm happy that the court has refused to stop this program. We are already in progress. We're building the kitchens that we're going to launch on the 28th of August. The process is going on.
Riu cira uyu urariirio tariki 23 mweri ukite kuria miena yeri yathitwo gutengemania macokio mao.
All responses shall be filed and served by the 4th of August 2023. Please note that all documents exceeding 50 pages are to be supplied in hard copies.
Handu-ini ha Muthingi TV, njitagwo Mubi wa Munyere.
Thengio muno mundu gwitwo Mubi wa Munyere ni undu wa riboti iyo tugukorwo tukirikiria oro hanini ndokorwo ugithia haraya ni amu nigukorwo ugicokereria tuthie na mbere na kuona uria bururi witu watindia.
Twi barabara-ini tugitwikania ngongo na ngongo gutigirira we mwiroreri witu wa tabarira ya ikumbiri ya umatho ni twakurehera utaukiru thiini wa biacara. Ino ni tabarira ya ikumbiri ya umatho iria turi kurehagira muthenya wa gatatu kwambiriria thaa 2 kinyagia thaa 3 cia utuku. Goko kwa Muthingi TV kihumo gya gutherema nani gikurehera ngetwo Muthoni wa Wambugu Nyarari.
Mithako marefeta nyimbo cia unduire tucunjĩ twa Bibilia.
I was coming.
Nyitanagira nani MC Hype Jemo o juma kwambĩrĩria thaa 2 nginya thaa 3 cia kiroko tugathoma tugakena na tugacanjamũka.
Kiroto kiumanite na Ngai gikoragwo gigĩa kũguna mũndũ kĩũmbe. Jesu nĩngwendete wewe wakwa ikala wanikwiyumba kamwe na mumo wa Ngai nakubo dino ni kwenda mulo
Lord, I lift your name on high.
Irio tokuhagira riko na kuihura ni ibataranagia kugĩa na rangi na mũnungo mwega nĩguo ikagucĩrĩria mũcirĩi. Na nĩkĩo nyũmba ya Mũgĩkũyũ ndĩagaga itaha rĩa kũgagũra mũgeni. Tabarĩra-inĩ ya itaha rĩa maitũ tũgũtaraga njĩra ya kũruga irio ngũrani na onawe ũgakenerera ũrugi waku. Nyitanagĩra na Njeri wa Nyakĩo o kiumia thaa 9 cia hwaĩ-inĩ tukirunga thiri cia urugi gũkũ kwa Muthingi TV kihumo gĩa gũtherema. yothe ya bururi wa Kenya na uguo makorwo makiheo kanya korwo makiruta wira wao.
Ningependa kuwashukuru watu wa Narok South. Hamukukubali kuingia maneno ya maandamano. Tuliingia serikali, tulipata serikali iliporwa, pesa ilichukuliwa, sanduku ikabebwa empty, ndani ya shimo. Badala ya watu wale tuliwashinda kwa kura kutusaidia, wanaenda kupeleka watu kwa. Ningependa kuwashukuru watu wa Narok County sababu tulikataa hiyo. Hata nilishindwa na mheshimiwa senator yetu ya Dama, nilikuwa namuuliza yeye. Narok County sisi tunategemea watalii. Na wewe naenda kuambia watu wafunge barabara, hiyo watalii wasiende Mara. Sasa hiyo ni story gani my friend? Sasa option ilikuwa 3, kuendelea kulima shimo, kwenda chini kuomba madeni, kuacha hapo na kusimama kutofanya kitu, ama kutafuta njia ya kutoka. Tukaamua tuwezi omba deni, wacha watu wasikie uchungu kidogo. Tukapunguza kutoka 900 billion zikakuja 600 billion. Na next year tutaomba 300 billion ama 400. Na next 2 years hatutahitaji deni kutoka nje. Nchi itakuwa mahali mzuri.
Gavana wa Siaya James Orengo augete mirorogano ya thayo ni tikiritio Latifa na uguo ni akoretwo akiuga makorwo makiheo wira kuruta hinya kana maafitha makorwo makiheo akanya ga kuruta wira wao. Orengo akinyanirie murugamo uyu ari kiaro-ini kia ahadi igongona-ini ria gwa mishuma ya kuririkana aria makwiriire mirurugano-ini.
To refer to Raila Amolo Odinga and his colleagues as criminals. That because they are organizing peaceful rallies, they are now decided to call them criminals. Let me remind them that Nelson Mandela was one time called a criminal. That did not stop him from becoming the president of South Africa. The best president that South Africa ever had. Martin Luther King was also called a criminal by the white supremacists in the United States of America. But he went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. We are saying to the Ruto government that this constitution that we fought for, the 2010 constitution, protects life and property, and the duty of the state is to protect life and property, demonstrating peacefully. And they are demonstrating for a just cause. The struggle continues. Nobody is going to stop us from doing what is right for the people of Kenya. And everywhere people are under a legitimate regime, that the cost of living has gone up, everywhere people are crying. It's not just in Nyanza. But it is only in lowland where people are demonstrating. But people are demonstrating everywhere. Everywhere. To Kitale, in Kisii, in Mombasa, in Nairobi, in the entire southeastern.
Na tukitigana na icio cia Orengo ni ati kiganda gya guthinjira kaunti-ini ya Isiolo kiria gikoretwo gigiakwo kwa ihinda ria miaka 16 igweterera mieri ingi 18 iguo thirikari itikire kana ikorwo kanya ga gukorwo ikihingurwo. Na akiaria na andiki a mohoro, minister wa wendia Waitherero na Iganda Moses Kuria augite kiganda giki kiria kiri thiini wa mugunda wa eka 500 ni guteithia kunina ngaragu iria egumagira arithia a mahiu miena ino, agukiria kaunti ino ni amu nyama iria ikoragwo igithinjirwo thiini wa mwena uyu wa Kajiado ni nyama nyingi, naguo akauga undu uyu korwo ugikuria bururi kana economy ya bururi wa Kenya.
Not true that
Northern Kenya is not productive. Northern Kenya can be very productive, both in terms of livestock, both in terms of agriculture. I'm working day and night to ensure that we bring investors into this area. We do our livestock here, we do our meat, we do our cotton, and our interest is a farmer, and our interest is our animals. Our interest is our skin. Our interest is our leather. As long as it's done here, we are going to welcome investors from all over the world to come and process meat here, so that when meat is processed here, it gets its way to the airport, and from there it is lifted to, a number of countries. So far, I have commitment for around 100 freighters that have been committed to come here and pick the meat from here and fly it to all over the world.
With this project, what I can assure you is that Isiolo people, Northern Kenya and Northern Belt will not lose the animals which they lost last year. In fact, Isiolo alone lost close to 6 billion worth of animals. If this facility was working by then we could have not such huge amount, 10,000 kettles, 15,000 goats and sheep, and 5,000 camel a day. That can tell you how transformative this project is.
Na tugithie na mbere ni ati kiganda gia guthondeka cukari kia Nzoia nikirugametie mihango yao undu umwe na kuhingwo kumana na unyihu wa igwa bururi-ini, undu uria ukoretwo ugituma arimi ukorwo makigetha igwa itari nguru, undu uria utumaga cukari wage cama. Na kuringana na ndumiriri iria irekereirio ni murugamiriri munene, igarirwo akiuga ati iganda cia cukari ni ikoretwo ikigumirwo ni mathina kiheri, kuria iganda nyingi ikoretwo higo ari hamwe na kiganda kia Mumias.
As you are aware that the sugar industry has been passing through a challenge of cane shortage, whereby millers have been milling cane that is underage. This called for the attention of the regulator, that is the Agriculture and Food Authority, Sugar Directorate, who actually wrote to us after several meetings together with them in the month of May and also July. And they wrote to us on 17th of June, suspending all milling activities because of harvesting immature cane. The factories, as you are aware, some of them have closed, like West Kenya, both in Kakamega and also in Naitiri. Butali has also closed down. Busia has closed down. Mumias has closed down. And now including Nzoia, whereby today we have called you today just to tell you that also we are suspending milling operations in line with the regulator, who also wrote to us, ensuring that we observe what the regulator has.
Na riboti iyo igimaine na kiganda gia cukari kia Nzoia ukorwo ikihingo niyo ikorwo ikihe kanya kangi gakorwo ngirikiria gakorwo ugithia haraya ni amu ni gukorwo ngicokereria tuthie na mbere na kuona uria bururi witu watinda ukigariura.
Muthingi nĩ hĩndĩ tũrawamba, no na tũkĩwambaga ndĩ haha gwĩkĩra ũira atĩ mũthingi ũrĩa tũramba wĩhandĩte ka ta ihiga rĩa nyaigĩ. Nyitanagĩra naniĩ Mũthoni wa Wambũgũ thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya igagũrĩro gũkũ kwa Mũthingi TV, kĩhumo gĩa gũtherema.
Nako kagũrũ karĩime gatihana karĩ mũhu, nake mumagari nĩeyonagira. Ndutaga wĩra wa kwendia hema, mĩgeka na ngũnia. Ũcio nĩ wĩra ũrĩa ndiraga naguo gũkũ Nairobi.
Nĩtũtambũraga kĩyo gitũ na thabarĩ itũ mĩethere-inĩ.
Kũnyita ũgeni gũkũ kwa Mũthingi TV.
Nĩkĩo nĩtũgĩcemanagia o kiumia tabarĩra-inĩ ya mwĩhang'ĩri, tũrĩ na mwĩhang'ĩri witũ agĩtũtirithia thabarĩ yake kinya hau akinyite
yandiko ni muthuri wiho andikitwo gibanda kihare rugongo
ni oguku ceceni-inĩ ya Mũthingi TV na niĩ Mwangi wa Mũrugi.
Hihi nioe nere maritwa ta your honor, acquittal, accused, conviction mahuthikaga. Nioe makinya magukinyukia niguo wone kihoto giaku kana kia mwana waku.
Kihoto kia mwikwirwo ni kiriku na tungigikinyira atia.
Tabarĩra-inĩ ya watho kĩgeri-inĩ tugakuhe kahinda ga kũria kĩũria na gũtuhe woni waku.
Na nĩkĩo marathi makoragana na nĩkĩo marathiĩ nginya makoraga ciana ici.
Urihite nyumba ri wina freedom ya gwika mundu mothe to nyumba yo ni yaku nurihite.
Nyitanagira na niĩ your lady Waitherero wa Njoroge thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya watho kĩgeri-inĩ tuthome na tuhige hamwe ici ciĩgiĩ watho oro ũndũ ũmwe na kĩhoto gũkũ kwa Mũthingi TV arĩkĩo kĩhumo gĩa gũtherema. Twakorwo tugicokereria oro rĩngĩ mwĩroreri wa Mũthingi TV tuthiĩ na mbere na kuona ũrĩa bũrũri witũ watindia thirikari ya kaunti ya Embu ĩrĩa ĩtongoragio nĩ gavana Cecily Mbarire nĩheanĩte kĩgĩna kĩa basarĩ kũrĩ arutwo a cukuru cia secondary na cia kothi cia moko arĩa maumĩte mĩciĩ ĩtehotete. Kĩgĩna gĩkĩ nĩ kĩa mũigana wa ciringi mirioni 102 kĩrĩa gĩkũguna arutwo 30,435.
We are hoping this coming years tutaongeza hiyo basari ikiwa kiwango ambayo tunaweza saidia wengine na wengine. And I'm happy we are now using a digital system. Tukianza kila mtu alikuwa anasema hii kitu itafanya kazi kweli. And today we can proudly sit here and say we succeeded in setting up a digital bursary management system. So I'm promising you that going forward we will try and enhance this bursary so that we can complement what the MPs are also doing. Secondary schools and primary schools other than ECD and VTCs are not devolved. But we do this because we have a responsibility and we understand how important education is. So we are promising we'll continue supporting even in the future. But I want to request the principals, when you get your check today, and there's an attached list, isn't it? There's an attached list of all the beneficiaries. Kindly, I beg you, go and make sure you go as per that list.
Tuko katika hali mbaya sana ya kiuchumi and everybody is understanding such that when we ask about the bursary, kila mtu ana apply bursary, Your Excellency. Nowadays it's not about the it has come to a point that everybody needs this bursary. Coordinators.
Na tugitigana na icio nĩ atĩ aikari a Ngong Ongatarogai na matũra marĩa mathondekaga kaunti-inĩ ya Kajiado ya rũgongo nĩ magunĩkĩte na gwakĩrwo gwa barabara werũ thutha wa gũkorwo makĩgirĩka kwa mĩaka mĩingĩ. Na engineer Grace Moina augĩte atĩ barabara ithatũ matũra-inĩ maya nĩ igwĩkĩrwo rami gũkũ ingĩ igĩkorwo igĩthondekwo werũ nĩ ũndũ wa kũgacĩrithia ũthii thĩinĩ wa kaunti ĩno.
Nafikiri leo tumekuwa na mkutano nzuri na washikadau tofauti. Mkutano ulikuwa hosted na Kura, Kenya Urban Roads Authority, kuzungumzia changamoto zile wanapitia wakifanya kazi. Kwa mfano size ya barabara kwingine tuko na watu kama wa Kenya Power, na kwingine pia wamekuwa na changamoto ya kupata materials nzuri za kuweza kutengeneza. Na kwa hivyo mkutano wa leo ilikuwa ya kusema barabara zile ni za Kura, tutazitengeneza aje, tuko na pesa kiasi gani, ili wananchi wanaweza kujua nitafanywa kwa ground.
But mainly important nimetoka Kura, that is Kenya Urban. In terms of Kajiado, najua tuliingia Kajiado around 2021. Initially, Kajiado was not considered to be urban, but because of the population growth, now it was changed to like an urban setup. So therefore, Kura now there was an affirmative action for Kura to come in, na tumechukua barabara kadhaa, Rongai, Kiseria na Ngong area. So as a result of that, each and every year we'll be doing some works on several roads, specifically in Ngong. Tuko na hii barabara, najua ubaya ni the names are slightly different, so tunaita Ngong B19 that connects Ngong town to Magadi Road. Kuna ingine hapo katikati yenye ina connect hiyo barabara ya B19 hadi Masai Road, alafu Masai Road yenyewe ni yetu, na kuna barabara zingine zenye Kera wanafanya which are also supposed to be handled ile barabara ya kwenda Ololua.
Samuel Mushiri, mimi ni ward administrator Olkeri ward, na tumeweza kuelimishwa barabara ambazo ziko under Kura, zile ziko under Kera na pia zile ziko under Kenha na pia county government. Kuna barabara kadhaa ambazo zimetajwa kama moja ambayo inaitwa Masai Road ambayo imekuwa na issue. Katika financial year hii ambayo inakuja watafanya kilomita 1 na kitu juu, alafu pesa tu zitaendelea kukuja na kufanywa wakati ambapo inaingia.
Mimi naitwa Onesmus Bungo ama Mr. Menye. Tugeomba Geshagi sababu iko katika Ngong town, tuwekewe rami ya Kara ikiwekwe, tupitishiwe kidogo tu, at least hata hii tujisikie tuko huru kama Wakenya wengine.
Mweroreri wa Muthingi TV jitikiria tukono tukihiuka emwe kwa emwe nginya kuria iharo-ine ni ati kiama kiria kirugamiriire mbitika thi yothe nikio gia FIFA igitanyitwo kuruguria mubira wa kagi uria na macukuru ma Muthingi United Nations Education Scientific and Cultural Organization na ukarugurio mwena wa Kakamega muthe wa kiumia kuria murugamiriri wa kiama kiria kiramataga kagi guku bururi-ini Nick Mwendwa atanyitwo gwikinya thiini wa igongona riri. Kiama kiria kirugamagirira mbitika cia mubira wa gonya KRU nimukite na mutaratara wa tigiti cia raithi cia gwikorwo makirorera mbitika iria cirathie na mbere guku bururi-ini cia aria mari thi wa miaka 20 kiharo-ini kia Nyayo niguo kurehe andu aingi thiini wa mbitika ici. KRU marendia tigiti ingi ici na njira ino 29 tigiti wa regular marendia ciringi 300 nayo VIP ikendio ciringi 1000 nao ciana cia thukuru magakorwo makiingira matakuriha ona ki. Na tukirikiria ngano cia golf kuma Fegini Nakuru Jumaino ari kerekari ya gatatu mwena wa Nakuru Golf Club na bitika ici ni irehete hamwe athaki makiria ma 200 kuma mwena uyu icigo-ini ta Njoro, Kericho, Nandi, Nairobi, Kisumu, Kakamega na Kisii. Ikerekari ya keri ya bitika ici ciathakirwo mwena wa Kitale kaunti-ini ya Trans Nzoia kuria gwa akorirwo akihotana. Muthingi TV hau no tukorwo tugikira mohoro maitũ ma thaa ici ngatho cia mwanya kũrĩ wa wakorwo ũkĩnyitanĩra na niĩ hwainĩ wa mũthenya wa cia mwanya kũrĩ andĩki aitũ a mohoro arĩa makorwo magĩthiĩ thĩinĩ wa kaunti ciothe 47 gũtigĩrĩra no wakorwo ikĩmenya ũrĩa bũrũri witũ wa Tidia My Able Director mũndũ gwĩtwo ta El My Camera Lady mũndũ gwĩtwo Beth ũndũ ũmwe na mũndũ gwĩtwo Ian na arĩa othe makorwo mayo ngatho cia gũkorwo ngĩhĩtũkana ndũmĩrĩri cigano na magoko page-inĩ ya Facebook mũndũ gwĩtwo Lucy Kenyanjui, thank you so much. Mũndũ gwĩtwo Bushikia Mutugo onawe ni ndakona. MC kama wa Jerry Otoireko karibu sana gũkũ kwa Muthingi TV. Mũndũ gwĩtwo kama Musenango asante sana. Mũndũ gwĩtwo wa Johi KE, mũndũ gwĩtwo Beth Bete na arĩa othe makorwo magĩcomment kũrĩa page-inĩ yakwa ya Facebook. Ngai wa moyo amũrathime na mwĩke maũndũ mega. Niĩ ngũkwendithĩria ũtukũ mwega thĩna mbere na kũrora Muthingi TV arĩkĩo kĩhumo gĩa gũtherema. Rĩtwa rĩakwa nĩ Waitherero wa Njoroge.
Nitutete mawoni maku na nikio no twende kuigua mateta na mendekithia maku iguru ria tafarira citu. Aranĩria na ithuĩ kũgerera namba ya WhatsApp nĩ 0776 877